Let's suppose you have a graph of y equals 2 to the x. And just to kind of go on a side tangent, because I think it's important, what is the point of these graphs? We use them to read data to kind of understand a bigger problem. For instance, let's pretend this graph is a function that described how much money you are earning in the bank. You would be interested in reading things like what is the output in 4 years? Or what year is it when I've earned $1,000 or whatever. So asking the first question, how much have I earned in 4 years, is the same as asking what is the y value when x is 4. So at 4 years, we've earned this value here, which turns out to be 16. That's not much money, so let's just say it's given in thousands. So that's not 16, it's 16,000. The second question that I brought up was, at what point will I reach a certain amount of money? So maybe you want to know, when will I have $8,000 in the bank? So that's asking, when is y equal to 8? For what x? What is this x value? How do we find this for an exponential function? This specific function I plotted is 2 to the x. So asking, when is y equal to 8, is asking, what exponent do we raise 2 to get 8? For this question, you can probably just answer, how many times do I need to multiply 2 to get 8? That's going to be 3, right? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So it will take you 3 years to get to 8,000. What if we wanted to ask a more difficult question? What if we wanted to know when y is 8,192? You probably can't just figure that out in your head, can you? Well, the answer is logarithms. Let's just put this one over to the side for a minute while we work with the problem we knew the answer to. To find this question mark, we are asking, how many times do we need to multiply 2 to get to 8? And we already said we needed to multiply 3 times. We call this answer of 3 the logarithm. We read this as log base 2 of 8 equals 3. So again, the log is how many times are we multiplying the base to get this number. So let's write this a bit cleaner. So what does this equal 8 mean here? This means that 2 to the third power, or 2 multiplied 3 times, equals 8. And what does this answer of 3 mean here? This means that we need to raise 2 to the 3 to get 8. So these are inverses of each other. And whatever you are putting into the log will be the answer to the exponential equation. And likewise, whatever you are putting into the exponential equation will be what you get out of the log equation. What if we wanted to work with a different base? What if we had base 3? This is log base 3 of 9. What does this equal? The answer is how many times I need to multiply 3 to get to 9. In math terms, that can be written as 3 to what power gives me 9, which you probably know is going to be 2. 3 to the 2 will give you 9. And so that is the answer to the logarithm. Getting back to this problem I saved up in the corner here. So we want to know how many times 2 needs to be multiplied by itself to get to 8,192. Now hopefully you know that is a logarithm. So we need to write out its log. So we know we have a log here. What's the base? The base is the number we are multiplying several times. In other words, it's the number we are raising an exponent to. So the base will be 2 for this problem. What we don't know is what the exponent is. That is the log. Our input is 8,192 because that's what we're trying to get to when we find 2 to some power. And what does that equal? How on earth do we find this? Do you know how many times we need to multiply 2 to get to 8,192? I know I don't. So really, there are a couple ways that you can do this. This video is getting way too long, so what we're going to do is we're just going to use a calculator. Let's take a look at what a calculator looks like. You can see that there are 2 logs over here. This one on the bottom doesn't have a space for a base. It is assumed it will be base 10. That is the common base that we work with. So if a calculator doesn't have a base option, it's going to solve for base 10. So that's log base 10. This log has a base there. This one will allow you to enter a base of 2 and solve this problem. If your calculator doesn't allow bases to be entered, well, you can just use the good old internet. Um, I'm sure if you Google log base 2 of something, you can get the answer. But you can also, use the change of base formula. We're not going to cover it here, but hopefully I can cover it in another video. For this problem, if you are able to put it into a scientific calculator with base 2, you will get the answer is 13, which means that 2 to the 13 will equal 8,192. So that was the definition of logarithm. You can kind of play with it on your own. What do you think the graph of the log would look like? What do you think the domain and range are for logarithm? The values that you are allowed to plug in and the values that you will get back. Some things to think about until next time.